Your bridge collapses. You can't build a bridge there. You lose $10,000. Your bridge collapses. You can't build a bridge there. You lose $25,000. Your bridge collapses. You can't build a bridge there. You lose $50,000. We'll be starting the train tracks in Truckee and winding our way to Wadsworth, 63 miles away. At $48,000 per mile, the government's given us $3,024,000. All right, I'm raring to build. Truckee to Wadsworth. Your mission? Avoid stirring up trouble among the Washoe, the Paiutes, and the thousands of miners now living here as well. Truckee. Building begins at Truckee on April 3, 1868, before you lay 63 long and difficult miles to Wadsworth, Nevada. Wadsworth. Wadsworth is going to be the CP's first major milestone in the new state of Nevada. Wadsworth. The celebration continues for days. The CP has finally reached Nevada. Lake Tahoe is approximately 22 miles long and 12 miles wide. Difficult to cross. Look, Sarah's got a picture. Lake Tahoe is approximately 22 miles long and 12 miles wide. Difficult to cross. Lake Tahoe is way too deep for a bridge. We just wasted $10,000 putting a bridge at the bottom of a lake. Build a bridge across Lake Tahoe? We must be getting altitude sickness. There goes another $25,000 down the drain. Maybe all this work is making our heads soft. We lost $50,000 trying to build an impossible bridge. Truckee River. The Truckee River is an important food source for the nearby Washoe. It's not very wide, but it often floods. Lucky us! No flooding in the spring. Our deck bridge holds up nicely. Spring floods wash out your deck bridge over the Truckee River. You lose $10,000. Let's start rebuilding. Our wood trestle bridge holds up nicely in the spring floods. That's a strong bridge, but about $25,000 too much for a little river like the Truckee. Washoe scouts have been spotted in the area. They're carrying spears and harpoons. Washoe scouts have been spotted in the area. They're carrying spears and harpoons. What do you want to do? The Washoe scouts outwit your workers. The attack fails and they escape unharmed. Let's hope they don't bring back a war party. The Washoe Scouts offer your workers protection against the Paiutes. They request exactly $3,200. Pay them in gold. The Washoe claim they've been cheated. They offer no protection against the Paiutes. They say we only gave them $800. The Washoe are angry that you gave them only $320. They refuse to protect you from the Paiutes. Your trade is successful. The Washoe agree to protect the railroad against Paiute attacks. That's a relief. Paiute scouts have been spotted in this area with bows and arrows. Paiute scouts have been spotted in this area with bows and arrows. What do you want to do? Your workers refuse to fight against the Paiutes. Some leave for the mines. You lose $5,000. Your workers fight against the Paiutes who escape unharmed. Construction delays cost you $5,000. The Paiute scouts offer your workers protection against the Washoe for $6,400. Pay them in gold. The Paiute claim they've been cheated. They offer no protection against the Washoe. Your trade is successful. The Paiute agree to protect the railroad against Washoe attacks. What a relief. The Antelope Mountains are too steep for a cut or gap. You lose $10,000. We made a lot of noise, but we didn't make any progress. The granite here is too hard for blasting powder. You lose $25,000. Kind of like trying to chop down a tree with a butter knife. Great job. Only way for a train to get through these mountains is in a tunnel. Whew, we made it through the mountain, but I've just about had it with carrying rocks. With all this blasting, I can't hear myself think. And I think pretty loud. $100,000. That's a lot of money for a hole in the ground. Virginia Mountains. The Virginia Mountains are made of granite. They're steep and difficult to cross. The Virginia Mountains are too steep for a cut or gap. You lose $10,000. All that nitro was a great fireworks display, but it didn't get us anywhere. The granite here is too hard for blasting powder. You lose $25,000. That's like trying to hunt bears with a slingshot. Good choice. Can't go over the mountain? Just go under. Digging tunnels in granite's tough work. If I never see another chunk of rock, I'll be one happy guy. $100,000? Who'd have thought a hole in the ground would cost so dang much? Last blast was a little close. Can't hear anything. Hello? Hello? Scrubby foothills. These are the foothills of the Antelope Mountains. Scrubby foothills of the Antelope Mountains. The nitro blasted those hills flat as a flapjack. Danger. A nitroglycerin explosion blows up a steam engine. Cost to railroad? $50,000. Using nitro on this ground is like hunting squirrels with a cannon. These hills are steep, but not steep enough for a tunnel. Lose $100,000. You can't build a tunnel through ground like this. The hole's bigger than the hill. Ranches. Cattle ranchers have built irrigation ditches down to the banks of the Truckee River. You may have to cross these to build here. Ranches. The ranchers may want you to make an offer to obtain permission to build over their irrigation ditches to the Truckee River. Cattle ranchers allow the railroad to build. Over time, they pay $50,000 to move cattle to market by rail. Guess they needed us more than we needed them. The cattle ranchers took our money, but they would have been happy paying us to build here. Now they have an easy way to transport their cattle to market. The cattle ranchers accept your offer. Cost for transporting cattle for free? $50,000 in the long run. They would have paid us to transport the cattle. We blew it. There may be opposition from a competing railroad company in Virginia City. Virginia City. Another railroad company doesn't want you here. They bought all the land in the area, so you'll have to deal with them. The Virginia and Truckee Railroad charges you $500,000 for the land. You'll never make it to Wadsworth. We're busted. Wise decision. The competing railroad was ready to bankrupt you to save their business. Carson City. Carson City is one of the oldest and richest cities in Nevada. Competition between railroad companies is strong here. Carson City. There's already a railroad in Carson City. Competition is tough. What do you want to do? Good choice. A price war would have been expensive. Price war. I don't like the sound of that. Your railroad gets into a price war with the Carson City Railroad. You're bankrupt. Dang. Guess there was one railroad too many. Lakes Crossing. There are richer cities in the area, but this route is direct and free from competition. Lakes Crossing was renamed Reno for the American Civil War general Jesse Lee Reno. Collect $200,000. That's the money made from shipping freight from Virginia and Carson City in the south. The Truckee River is marshy and wide here. A flood during the spring washes out your deck bridge over the Truckee River. A flood during the spring washes out your wood trestle bridge. We did it! Though an iron trestle bridge is a safer bet for a river that floods like the Truckee, it looks like this wood bridge has done the trick. The Carson River is marshy and wide here. A flood during the spring washes out your deck bridge over the Carson River. A flood during the spring washes out your wood trestle bridge over the Carson River. Yeah, we did it! Though an iron trestle bridge is a safer bet for a river that floods like the Carson, it looks like this wood bridge has done the trick. Urgent telegraph. Read the telegraph and respond immediately. Train robbery. The telegraph warned about bandits, not Paiutes. You lose $75,000. They got the payroll. Hey, great job! Bandits were going after the company's payroll. We got them in time, though, plus a reward. Train robbery. The telegraph warned of bandits, not Washoe. You lose $75,000. Indian village. This village could be Washoe or Paiute. Proceed with caution. Indian village. Fishermen can be seen fishing behind blinds. Do you want to build through this area? Washoe village. The Washoe are not friendly with your workers. A skirmish ends up costing you $100,000. Washoe village. The Washoe are friendly with your workers. You collect $100,000. The scouts showed us the best route. Good thing we made friends back near Truckee. They might not be friendly. Let's try the other village. Indian village. This village could be Washoe or Paiute. Proceed with caution. Indian village. Hunters can be seen with long bows and arrows. Do you want to build through this area? Paiute village. The Paiute are not friendly with your workers. A skirmish costs your company $100,000. Let's try the other village. The miners and their animals are using up the water and food the Washoe and Paiutes need. No wonder there's trouble. Oh, great, just what we need. More mountains. We make it to Wadsworth, and we've made it out of California. It doesn't look too difficult to cross, but I don't like the sound of those floods. Dream Team, give us some advice. $3,200. How many ounces of gold is that anyway? Bows and arrows? Maybe we should get behind a tree or something. They've got bows and arrows? Dream Team, What's your advice? How much is it per ounce of gold? It may take some blasting to create a level road for the rails. What's more, we may have to pay them for right-of-way to build over their irrigation ditches. So we may have to pay them to build over their irrigation ditches. If they want the railroad to come this way, we may not need to pay them anything. But Virginia City is so rich. We could make a fortune transporting people and freight. This could get expensive. But Virginia City's a rich town. Might still be a good idea to build. Maybe 2 railroads in one town is too much. Nice and direct, and no other railroads around. I like that. Oh, poor little bridge. Didn't stand a chance. The floods turned that trestle bridge into a pile of soggy splinters. Click on the camera to see Sarah's Morse code book. It'll help us figure out what the message says. Is that a Washoe or a Paiute village? Could make all the difference. Oh, how could we forget? The Washoe are still steamed from way back near Truckee. There are now over 20,000 miners working at and around the Comstock lode in Nevada. Truckee was named after the Paiute Indian who guided immigrants to California across the Sierra. Wadsworth, Nevada is 63 miles from Truckee through rough mountain country. Lake Tahoe means big lake in the Washoe tongue. The name fits. The Washoe fish the Truckee River in search of Lahontan cutthroat trout. The Washoe Scouts may be heading to Lake Tahoe to fish. Gold is worth $16 an ounce these days. The Washoe use it to trade with the miners for supplies they need. The Paiutes may be using bows and arrows for hunting, not fighting. Gold is currently worth $16 an ounce. The Paiute use it when trading with the miners. Granite, a rock used for buildings and monuments. Tough to blast. Oh, great. Foothills are the hilly region at the base of a mountain range. Ranchers use cowboys to transport their cattle long distances over land to market. They might just love a railroad near here. Some call Virginia City the richest place on earth. It's home of the Comstock lode. Virginia City is so rich from mining, a railroad here should make money. But 2 railroads? In 1861, Carson City became the capital of the Territory of Nevada. And when Nevada became a state in 1864, it became state capital. Lakes Crossing became famous for its toll bridge across the Truckee River. Floods are likely to occur here in the spring when snow in the mountains begins to melt. To read the telegraph message, interpret the Morse code. The Comstock lode is a 3-mile stretch of gold and silver, found 6,200 feet up on the side of Sun Mountain in Nevada. On October 31st, 1864, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed Nevada the 36th state of the Union. Way to go, Nevada! The Washoe believe that deep beneath Lake Tahoe lay the remains of the terrible Ong, a huge bird that used to terrorize their people. The Paiutes have been unfriendly and hostile to the Washoe. They think the Washoe are being too nice to the miners in the area. Paiute bows are extremely long. Their arrows are made of solid wood and feathers. Washoe have not been getting along with the Paiutes. The Washoe believe the Paiutes are unnecessarily hostile to the nearby miners. Irrigation involves supplying water to land where water normally doesn't reach. The Comstock lode is the richest gold and silver strike in America. The North couldn't have won the Civil War without these mines. The Virginia and Truckee Railroad is already here. They want the CP to build through Reno. If we build here, they make no money. Morse code was introduced by Samuel Morse in 1837. It's a way of passing information over wires with electrical pulses. The Antelope Mountains are made of granite. They can be steep and difficult to cross. Paiute Village. You collect $100,000. The Scouts showed us the best route. Good thing we made friends back near Truckee.
Miners in this area make a lot of money. $4 whole a day. High wages like that make it difficult to get workers for the railroad. Nevada comes from the Spanish word for snow-capped. Well, let's see here. You take the 16, carry the 1, add them together. I say it's 20 ounces. 320? Wait a second. You multiply the 16 plus that 0 there. Whoops. I guess we'll have to watch out for the Paiutes. What you do is you take the 6,400 and you divide it, and then there's the zeros. I get 400 ounces of gold in $6,400. I always had a head for 2 things, numbers and shooting. If we give them something, say $25,000, at least we know there won't be trouble. Well, if I'd have known that, shucks. $25,000 is a lot of money. Watch out for Virginia City. These city folks will be looking to sucker you out of your money. I'm not afraid of a little competition. We'll lower our prices till the Carson Railroad goes bust. That Carson Railroad sure did put up a fight. This is the best route east, I promise you. Don't get involved in Carson City or Virginia City. It's a mess. It says bandits. We better send out a party to capture them. I say we're safe here and that we should build. Lake's Crossing is the site of a toll bridge across the Truckee. There's talk of changing its name to Reno. Scrubby foothills like these are easy to climb. Miners often comb these hills for traces of gold. There are 20,000 miners in this area working on the traditional lands of the Washoe and the Paiute. No telling what trouble may be brewing. Wadsworth, Nevada. Mining towns are flourishing all over the new state of Nevada. Lake Tahoe lies over 6,000 feet above sea level and is over 1,600 feet deep in some places. Hey Jack, bet you can't touch the bottom. The Truckee River is lined with cottonwood trees. I wonder if they'd make good railroad ties. The Washoe have developed many interesting technologies for fishing. I've even seen them construct dams to divert rivers. Gold is fetching $16 an ounce now. People are becoming millionaires overnight. There may be gold in these mountains, but I guarantee you they'll be hard to climb. As with the Truckee, the marshy banks of the Carson sometimes flood in the spring. There may be gold in the Virginia mountains, but getting to the gold is the hard part. These mountains are steep. When ranchers herd their cattle to the edge of the railroad line to transport them to market, the towns that spring up are called cow towns. Virginia City, home of grubby prospectors turn into instant millionaires. Watch out. Carson City, Nevada. They're currently finalizing plans for the state capitol building here. The marshy banks of the Truckee sometimes flood in the spring. Here's Morse code. Use it to figure out what the message says. You probably don't need to look up every letter. Work smart. In Truckee, we're building a wooden roundhouse. It can hold up to 11 locomotives. In 1860, the Paiutes killed 43 white men who were trying to avenge an earlier raid on the Carson River. This northern Paiute man named Winnemucca was responsible for bringing the Paiute Wars to an end. His daughter Sarah Winnemucca had a long and interesting political life in the United States. I made a sketch of some gold miners panning the creeks at the foothills of the Antelope Mountains. If they find gold nuggets here, they'll head on up looking for the mother lode. Train robbers like these got a hold of one of our payroll trains. We lost a whole day's pay to those rascals. Bandits like these were trying to get a hold of one of our payroll trains. We could have lost a whole day's pay to those rascals. I took this photo of an arrow maker sitting next to a straw hut. I take it the girl next to him is his daughter, but I couldn't understand a word they were saying. I snapped this photo and hightailed it out of there. Notice the rifles?
President Lincoln said the gold in these parts is what saved the Union during the Civil War. Truckee was named for a Paiute, but his name wasn't Truckee. He kept saying Troquet to some settlers he was guiding. That's Paiute for everything's okay. He was just being friendly and they thought he was saying his name. With the Civil War brewing, it was no wonder Lincoln decided to make Nevada a state. That's one more state for the Union, one less state for the Confederacy. I admire them Washoe fishermen. They even know how to ice fish in the winter. I noticed the kinds of weapons they were carrying. Could be tools for fishing. The Washoe might not be on the warpath. I say we try to trade with them. They might protect us from the Paiutes. If there's one thing a mountain man knows how to do, it's trade. $3,200 is 200 ounces of gold. You don't last long in the mountains if you can't trade proper. Let's not go fighting when we don't have to. If we trade with them, they might help protect us from the Washoe. We're fighting the Paiutes in their territory. They know their way around better than we do. There's 200 ounces of gold and $6,400. I could figure that one out in my sleep. $3,200? I guess I should have woke up before I did my figuring. Guess we'll have to watch out for the Washoe. Just let 'em move their cattle for free, and they'll let the railroad through. $50,000 for a few cows? Well, I've never been much of a farmer. Guess it shows. Newspapers, Shakespeare plays, fire departments? Well, this city's too big for my taste. I say go back. I don't trust these city slickers to make us a fair deal. I don't like cities. Never did, never will. It says Washoes are coming. We better prepare for an ambush. Not safe here. We shouldn't build. Backtrack at a cost and go through the other village.
They say by the time it's all mined, gold and silver from the nearby Comstock lode may total over $300 million. Woo-hoo! That ain't chicken feed. You know why they made Nevada a state, don't you? It was the discovery of the Comstock lode. Gold, that is. Yee-haw! The shiny stuff. The Washoe sure know how to work the river. They use dams to make fish ponds. They can carve a bone into a fish hook. I saw the harpoons the Washoe are carrying, and they look mighty sharp. I wonder if we shouldn't stay clear of these scouts. I've seen their weapons. I say we get them before they get us. Let's attack now, before it's too late. They know the land better than we do. They knew how to hide. Let's see, $3,200 at $16 an ounce. We should give 'em 50 ounces. $800? Well, heck, 50 ounces sure looked like a lot. Guess we better be on the lookout for Paiutes. We should attack now before they attack us. Everybody knows the Paiutes in this area are unfriendly. This is tough country for finding workers. Every man who can lift a pickaxe is digging gold in the hills. I know numbering. $6,400 is 40 ounces of gold, or I'll eat my hat. $640? When I said I'd eat my hat, well, that was just a joke, see? Don't give 'em a nickel. They're itching to have the railroad here to move their cattle. The way I see it is this. Why should we pay a man to build a railroad when he'll pay us? Virginia City's my kind of town. Plenty of saloons and theaters and other things to keep a man occupied. This is the biggest city along the whole route. We can't lose. Just buy the land, pay whatever it takes. I never thought I'd say it, but I guess there's such a thing as loving gold a little too much. I got a bad feeling about this. Competition? Sounds like we might lose money. Let's go somewhere else. Sometimes it's better to walk away from a fight, especially when there's money on the line. Forget Lakes Crossing. Build down south where the real money is. It says Paiutes are coming. We better prepare for an ambush.